vast collections have shaped our identity and our vision for the next century. In other words, what we found at the La Brea tar pits gives us the clues for how we will shape our future course, particularly in an era when we know that the climate is warming, just as it did at the end of the last ice age. Today we stand in front of you ready to reactivate two treasures at the La Brea tar pits, the observation pit behind me, which has been closed for about 20 years, and Pit 91 that you will see on your tour, where the public can see our scientists at work excavating fossils from the tar pits. But this observation pit is a wonderful mid-century gem and an example of forward-thinking architecture from the time it was created. It was designed by architect Harry Sims Bent, known for his sensitive site work in Hawaii and in the United States, for example at the LA County Arboretum. And this structure really provides a classic venue for observing a tar pit, as you will see when you go inside, with the downward spiral stairs that give you the feeling that you yourself are going to a tar pit to engage in the process of excavation. The asphalt becomes the gooeyest and thus most able to be worked with, and when we were able to do that, we focused there until Project 23. And Project 23 was really the result of the excavation of the parking garage at LACMA, and the big boxes that you will see, many of which are completed but some of which still remain, contain hardened fossils that our scientists are busy excavating as well. I have a whole team of people with me today, and you will meet them as the morning goes on, because they are restoring and representing these tar pits for future generations. So at this moment, I would like to introduce Supervisor Zev Yaroslavsky, the supervisor for the 3rd District, and I would note, because his long and distinguished tenure is coming to an end as county supervisor, that Zev has been a champion of arts and culture in the whole county, and we're all very grateful for your support.
Thank you very much, Jane, and it's great to be here with my clothes on. I jog through here almost several times a week, so I've been monitoring these developments at the tar pits personally, and I work up a sweat doing it. This is a great day for the Natural History Museum and the La Brea tar pits, and for this campus, which is shared jointly by the Page Museum and the tar pits and the County Museum of Art. This is an exciting time in this particular area of the city and county. We are about to commence construction on the subway extension from Western Avenue to La Cienega, which means that there will be a subway stop right here at Wilshire and Fairfax, making this park and this museum and the tar pits accessible to a broad array of people who are transit dependent or don't want to fight the traffic getting here. This is a very exciting time for this campus. The tar pits are very popular in this town. Those of us who grew up in this neighborhood, as I did, performed a lot of mischief around here in and around the tar pits. I shouldn't say in the tar pits, but around the tar pits. And it's been part of our lives, part of the lives of people on the west side of Los Angeles and the broader Los Angeles County area, because it is a unique site. It's a unique exhibition. People from all over the world know about the La Brea tar pits. It's a tourist attraction, which also puts a dollar sign next to this institution. People come here, spend money, in part to see what's been excavated here and what the world looked like hundreds of thousands of years ago. So this is a magnet for tourism, it's a magnet for education, it's a magnet for curiosity, and of course it's the kids who really love this place more than anybody. My kids used to come here all the time, and now we take our grandkids who at least the older one, is beginning to understand what fossils are all about and what's underneath this ground. And those of us who live and work in this area of Los Angeles recognize that this whole area is full of fossils. Almost any time you dig around here, you're likely to find the fossil. And in fact, when the museum was under construction, and as the subway will be under construction, we have scientists who advise us and who monitor what we're doing to be sure that we don't disturb or destroy something significant that may be found under Wilshire Boulevard, under 6th Street, under the old parking garage of the May Company, etc. So I'm really pleased to see this progress on this particular observation pit. There's more coming here at the La Brea Tar Pits from the tar pits point of view. The more access that people have to the tar pits, the more their curiosity gets piqued. The more their curiosity gets piqued, the better our quality of life is, and one or two of those kids who come here may become scientists who will ultimately work for the Natural History Museum, analyzing what's found underneath these properties. So Jane, thank you very much for including me in this press conference and this announcement. There's a lot been going on this campus, not just at the tar pits, 2 new pavilions at the County Museum, a new building that's going to be announced soon for the County Museum, the subway extension, which will benefit both the County Museum and the tar pits. This part of Los Angeles, the Miracle Mile, and especially this park, is on a roll, and we're very excited about the future as much as we are curious about the past. Thank you very much.
That I'd like to introduce. Luis Chiappi is our Vice President for Research and Collections. He's going to talk about the science at the tar pits.
For being here this morning. Good morning, and I understand that we have a large contingent of Hispanic media, so I'd like to say bienvenidos. Muchas gracias por estar esta mañana con nosotros. So the tar pits, what a place. It is really a unique place. Some would say that it is the miracle of Miracle Mile. Certainly one of the miracles, no question about that. Now this place is unique because it is the best known Ice Age place in the world. It has produced the largest collection of Ice Age fossils in the world, now exceeding the 5 million specimens. And it's really the library of the Ice Ages, if you want. It's a place that visitors from all around the world come here on a regular basis, and of course scientists from around the world come here on an annual basis. And the Natural History Museum and the county have been very fortunate to be the stewards of this place for 100 years. And I say very fortunate because I cannot think of a better place that can provide the kind of experience, educational and scientific experience that the tar pits provide to the community of the entire world. This place produces discoveries on a daily basis. Our staff collects and catalogs specimens every day. Scientists from around the world come here to study our collections every year. Just to give you a sense of about a year and a half, we hosted an international Congress of vertebrate paleontologists, and about 1,500 of them from around the world came here to Los Angeles. And at that meeting, 70 presentations dealt with fossils from the tar pits. In the last 100 years, 700 scientific papers have been published that deal specifically with fossils from the tar pits. They have produced an enormous amount of information about this critical time that we call the Ice Ages. Pit 91, as Jane Pisano mentioned, opened 100 years ago. It was reopened in 1969, and now we are reopening once again. Since 1969, when it opened, the fossils from Pit 91 virtually doubled the collection that existed at the time. About 1 million specimens have been collected from Pit 91. Most of them are microfossils. These are the tiny fossils that are represented by small fragments of plants, insects, the remains of little lizards and mammals that lived here tens of thousands of years ago. And those microfossils are extremely important because they are the fossils that tell us, that paint the picture best of the ancient climate that prevailed here in our city 10,000, 20, 30, 40,000 years ago. And I don't need to tell you how important it is to understand the changes in climate that took place at that time, because that's the kind of information we use to look forward and to try to understand the changes that are going to happen to our climate in the future. So as we reopen Pit 91, I would say that we cannot imagine the kind of discoveries and the information that we will gather again from this very important site. Now I'd like to introduce a number of colleagues who've been very kind to join us here for this groundbreaking day, and they are right over there. I will begin with the tallest, Robin O'Keefe. And Dr. O'Keefe is a professor from Marshall University in West Virginia, and he studies the interplay between climate change and mammalian evolution. So essentially how, as the climate was changing during the ice ages, how that was affecting the evolution of mammals such as saber-toothed cats and dire wolves, and he will be talking about his research later on. Jacqueline Gill from the Climate Change Institute of the University of Maine.
It looked like to an excavator, so you'll see now what the excavator will see as they're digging in the ground. There are the bones that are on here are mostly real. We have in front of me here, there's a mastodon skull. The big bone mass at the far end there is the pelvis of a ground slug. On the top of the hill there you can see an upside down saber-toothed cat skull, and beyond it there's a darwin skull. There's a mass of bones now here that are from the American mastodon. To collect fossils in 1913, and for 2 years, from 1913 to 1915, the landowner, the Hancock family, gave the museum sole right to excavate here at the La Brea tar pits. And during those 2 years, they dug 96 test excavations and took out about 750,000 bones. Pit 91 was the 91st pit that they came across. And they came across it in the summer of 1915, and by that time they thought they'd more or less collected all the bones that they could handle at the time, and so they decided to leave Pit 91 as a site to be a demonstration site to show people what fossils look like in the ground. The snails and the small rodents come from this one locality, Pit 91. Okay. It has been recently refurbished, and we're reopening Pit 91 now, so that people can see excavation activities going on during the summer. We stopped excavating here at Pit 91 in 2007 because, as Supervisor Yaroslavsky said, the Art Museum built an underground parking structure where they found 60 more fossil deposits, and we took those out of the ground, and since they're out of the ground and the asphalt is hardening, we need to start working on those first. But now it's difficult to see the excavation activities in Project 23, and so we opened Pit 91 so you can actually see the excavators up close and the work that they're doing. And so from this Sunday onwards, excavation will take place here in the park through to Labor Day.
Don't forget to visit us online on galatview.com. Click like on YouTube page.